There are three types of formatting in Word. There's character formatting, paragraph formatting, and page formatting. This video is about character formatting. So you'll see here that I have the standard Calibri 11-point font chosen. I'm going to insert some random text into my document so I have something to talk about. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to turn off my formatting marks by clicking the Show Hide button. Okay, so this is Calibri 11 point. 1 point is 1/72nd of an inch. And that basically means from the baseline of your text to the top of the tallest letter is 11/72 of an inch. If I want something larger, so let me double click here in the selection area to select the paragraph, and I'll select 12 point. And that's a little larger. And of course 14 point gets larger. Word 2010 has this nice feature that all I have to do is hover over a formatting menu item to see what the effect of it would be, but if I move away and don't select it, then it goes back to where it was. Calibri is what we call a sans-serif font. If you look closely at the letters, you'll see that they don't have, for lack of a better word, little thingies on them, as for example Times New Roman or Garamond might have. You see here on the I, there are what we call serifs on these. The T has a little serif on the end of it. And serifs generally help you to identify the letter, particularly at smaller font sizes. The serifs actually help guide your eye into seeing the shape of the letter. So generally for readable text, you want to use a serif font, even though now Word defaults to a sans-serif font. Sans-serif fonts are better for smaller text and larger text. If you get too small, the serifs become distracting and you can't see the letter. If you get too large, the serifs become distracting and appear to be a feature in and of themselves rather than helping you to see the shape of the letter. Let me go back to Calibri. We also have Cambria, which is a new font that is included with Word, and these new fonts that Word has included with 2010 are intended to be more easily readable on the screen. Okay, so that's serif and sans-serif. There's another way of categorizing fonts, and that is monospaced and proportional. So a font like Courier New, this is a monospaced font because each letter takes exactly the same amount of space horizontally, just like a typewriter. When you press a key on a typewriter, the platen moves over the same amount of space no matter what. So you can see the M here is a little crowded relative to the I, which doesn't need as much space, and the I has wider serifs on it to help it to occupy the space, whereas the serifs on the M are diminished so that it's not as crowded. Generally, we like to use a proportional font where each letter only takes the amount of space that it needs. You can get more text on the line and it's more easily readable. Another option that we have to deal with text is the change case, and that is here under this change case button. If I make a selection, then I can choose between having all uppercase, all lowercase, sentence case, which is capitalize the first letter and nothing else, or title case, which is capitalizing each word. Now I want to undo what I just did, and so I'm going to hold down Control Z, and that will cycle me back through and let me undo. You've also got an undo button up on the Quick Launch toolbar if you want to undo something that you've done. Now let's talk about highlighting text. As I said in the Chapter 1 video, most people refer to this as highlighting, but this is really selection. Highlighting is when you change the color that is behind the text. So that is what Microsoft refers to as highlighting. Sometimes I want to change the color of the text itself, and then I choose the text color button. This is particularly nice for headings in your document, or when you really want to call someone's attention to something. Now, of course, red on yellow is probably not too easy on your eyes, so we'll undo that. Let's talk about symbols. There are a couple of different ways of getting symbols into your document. The easiest way to do it is to go to the Insert tab and choose Insert Symbol. And here you get some common symbols, a check mark, a section sign, a Greek letter mu, a Greek letter omega, a euro sign, a British pound sign, yen sign, etc. There are more symbols that can be had. If you go to just the normal text font, you will see it doesn't matter what font you use. These symbols are available, and there are symbols here for many different languages, and there are also mathematical symbols. If you scroll to the right place, and you can jump to the right place by coming over to this subset. Different kinds of numbers and standard fractions, arrows, mathematical operators. But if you want some really different kinds of symbols, you may want to look in the Wingdings font and the Webdings font. The Webdings contains things that you might want to put on a web page, but you can also put them into a Word document. And Wingdings are just different symbols, clock faces, different kinds of arrows, and little curlicues that can be inserted into a document. Here is the symbol for the Windows key in case you're doing any kind of documentation and you're trying to tell someone to press the Windows key. Since I also teach math, one thing that I do in association with inserting symbols, because I need to do that from time to time, let me go to my normal text here and let me go to the mathematical operators. Here's a not equal sign. And so one thing I might do is I might go here to the autocorrect and say whenever I type semicolon NEQ semicolon, make sure that the formatted text is chosen, then I want this not equal sign. Now, of course, I can go to this insert symbol and I can say insert and I'll get my not equals. But I can also do it this way. And that makes it very easy to type so that I don't have to bring my hands up off of the keyboard. The reason why I enclosed it in semicolons is autocorrect in Word is activated whenever you do a space or punctuation. So by surrounding it with semicolons, I know that I'm never going to type that by accident. This concludes character formatting. The next video will be about paragraph formatting.